Hey guys, welcome back to Creating Hanley. This is part 2B of the A Year Full of Stars, April, block of the month, quilt along, quilt as you go. This is the flower star. And you can see as we're coming together with these little units, it does create a flower star. Now, in the previous video, I just spoke 20 minutes on how to create this unit right here, and it did not record. So I got 6 minutes of video recorded, and I may actually throw that up online just so you guys can see how I started to create this block. But I'm just going to walk you through that right now because I don't have any left to show you how to construct it. So because I thought I was recording, I finished all the blocks. Sorry about that. So, this is your prototype. So what you want is all the remaining of your background fabric. So mine happens to be purple batik. And, I'm sorry, bottom fabric. I knew it was a B. Bottom fabric, my bottom fabric is purple batik, and then your background, this is your background, whatever color that is. So, on these arrows, my background was yellow, and the top fabric was pink. You remember that, right? My top fabric is pink batik, and I chose these pastels for Easter. Okay, yeah, I've just been talking for the past half hour, and so now I'm like all talked out, and now, sorry, I'm all tongue twisted. So we finished these in part 1 of the star block. Now this piece is what will finish this whole block off. So let me just walk you through that. So this little piece right here is a 2 inch by 2 inch. And then you're going to, so imagine this is purple. Imagine this part is purple right here. So you're going to take this 2 inch by 2 inch bottom piece and you're going to sew it to the 2 inch by 2 inch background piece. Just sew those two together. So imagine that's purple. So you're just going to sew these two together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. You're going to do that 4 times. And then you're going to take your whole 2 inch by 3.5. So mine happens to be purple again. 2 inch by 3.5 inch, that rectangle. Sew that onto this unit right here, this half unit. So you're going to do it so that your background is down, is facing the bottom. So when you look at it, so you could do it a couple different ways. You can look at it and see your background facing the top and then put the rectangle on to the left. So the background is at the top, your purple, or your whatever color, your print and this print solid. These two form an L this way. Or you can do it this way, whatever works for your brain. And then so those two together that way. So your rectangle is here, and then the half unit is here. And I'm sorry, the background is probably screwing you up, but that's how you want to do that. Now, once those 3 pieces are all sewn together, now you're going to snowball them. And you're going to put this on point. And you're going to take your other 2.5 inch square. So these pieces are still 2.5 inch square. And just like you did with this piece right here. So we just did this on this piece. You're going to snowball these corners. Now, this snowballing is like really close. It kind of makes if I were to flip this up, this would be a flying goose or flying geese unit. This is actually a flying geese unit, but now this flying geese has a tail. I guess you could think of it that way. That's a flying geese unit. This is a flying geese with a tail because this is a rectangle, okay? But I call them snowballing in the units, even though the snowball is like super close together. Usually the snowball is on a square and they're far apart. But that is going to be the same way that we do these corners right here. Okay, so we're going to just measure up. So right sides to right side. Put your background onto the print. Make sure that your drawn line, remember we did all those drawn lines, drawn line goes this way on your fabric, so it overlaps this background. Okay, so this is the unit that you're going to create. When you, let me just try to like make believe that there's a piece here. When you sew these on, it's going to look like this. Okay, so it's going to look like that when you sew it on, and then you cut off a 1/4 inch right here. And then, so that goes away, and then you open this up, and that maintains the integrity of that square. And then you do the same thing to this side. So you have, I hope this is making sense. I'm sorry, I thought my video was recording, and you know, because I don't really have a camera, I'm just using my laptop. And again, I am open to anybody to come help me and figure this out. Anybody. So do that. So just on the outside of that drawn line, so that you can fold that over, and it maintains the integrity of the square, like so. So then when you square it up, you don't have much to trim off at all. If you have a lot to trim off, what I would do instead of trimming all that off is actually pull the stitches out and re-sew it, so that you don't have a lot to trim off. So you can see this on the back here, this has maintained the integrity of that square. So that is a good square. This is a little bit wonky right here. This right there. Just a tiny bit off, but I'm not even going to worry about that. Okay? So once you have done that, that creates this unit. I may throw up that first video that I only got 6 minutes worth of video, but I was chattering on for a good 20 minutes or so. I may do that, but anyway, so that's that unit. Now that you have all 4 of these done, and that completes all your fabric. Now you should have 0 fabric left over. That completes these 4 units and these 4 units, and that's all you need. Now you put this together like a 9 patch. Let me take you back down to the surface here. So, all you do, line up these in a plus sign, and then you take your flower petals, and the color side goes in towards the middle, and the background goes out, so your flower petals are like that. So I guess that's flower petals, or is this flower petals? I'm not really sure. But it's a star flower, or a flower star, whatever, however way you want to look at it. Now, to really make it a flower, you would applique a circle on top of here. So what I'm going to do to finish this unit, to finish this block, is to sew these together, sew these together, and sew these together. And then I'm going to sew that row together, and then that row together. So you don't need to see that, but I'll just show you. Now, also, by the way, in case you're like, oh no, they don't line up. If you take a look at this, these lines, this point and this point don't line up. They are not supposed to. It is not supposed to look like this, okay? It is not supposed to look like that. It is not supposed to look like that. It is supposed to look like this, where these are not exactly lined up. That is intentional. It is supposed to be like that. So don't think you screwed up because you're like, oh no, these points don't match. They're not supposed to match. They're supposed to be off center, off kilter like that. That's the difference that makes it a flower star. Okay, so you have flower petals and a star somewhere in there. Okay? Okay, so don't panic if you see that. So I'm just going to do this and then sew on this edge. So I'm going to flip it around. And we're not going to do the whole thing on camera because you don't really need to see that, but I'm just going to show you 1 or 2 pieces here, maybe do the full row. And then, so you can chain piece if you want. But if I open this up, see how that looks? That is supposed to be like that, okay? That is supposed to happen. And then you take this, the other corner piece, and put it on there. So you just sew it together like an Easy 9 patch. And that's it. And that's it, folks. That is your block. Okay, so there you go. It looks like that. That is, now it's coming together, okay? Nice. All right, so it goes like this. So this, so that together on there, and so this together on here. And then you have your patch. Now, this is going to be smaller than 12.5 inches square because, just because. It is going to be, according to the person who created the thing, it's going to be 8.5 by 8.5. Yeah, so according to the person who created the pattern, it's 8.5 by 8.5. And if I put this on the edge here and I look, yep, it's pretty much 8.5. I have to iron this down. So see how this is all kind of sticking up like that? I need to iron it down. So I'll take it over to my pressing mat. You can't really see that, but here we go. And I am pressing the to the center here, okay? And so that is what it looks like. All right. This is 8.5 inches long. So you're going to get 8.5 by 8.5, which means when we add this to our 12.5 inch blocks, we need to add more inches. We need to add more border on the outside. So feel free to use more of your background fabric. Use more of your background fabric and add a border. Add some sashing to the outside in this background fabric, and then that way it doesn't look weird. And then if you want to, you can do an applique in the center, or if you didn't want to make it into looking like a flower, just leave this here. I'm probably just going to leave that like that. Okay? Now, in the comments, if you say, I want to see the applique done, please show me how to do that, then I will do that in another video. Okay? I will do that for you. All right. But that is going to be it for this video. We don't have to drag it out. Sew all those together. Sew these together, and then sew the rows together, and then you have created your April block of the month. Flower star. And again, I thank you for playing along. We're going to get a new star block coming out soon after this one. And yeah, we still have time in April to do another one. So we'll do another one for April, and then we head into May. And stay tuned for other videos. You know, more are coming. All right. Thank you all. I appreciate your love and support. We'll see you in the next vid. Bye.